I'm about to do an interview with Univision San Diego to talk about deported veterans. If this is the first time that you hear these two words together, it's totally normal that you don't know that the US deports its own veterans. But now that you do, what can you do? This interview will be in Spanish, which I think it's so important to have resources on this issue in Spanish so the Spanish speaking community knows that this is happening. So, for instance, if you have family members who are not citizens of the US but are permanent residents and enlist in the US military, to make sure that they gain their citizenship. Securing their citizenship is the number one way for service members and for veterans to not get deported, literally stopping the pipeline to deportation. If you're new to my social media, my name is Lisbela Cruz Santana. I'm an assistant professor in New York City. I teach Chicano and US-Mexico border studies, and specifically, I am the director of the Playas de Tijuana mural project, El Paso del Norte mural project, and the most recent mural, which is dedicated to the deported veterans diaspora. I have also been a researcher for the Humanizing Deportation project since the fall of 2016. Thanks to this project, I learned about deported veterans. I remember the first time that I saw the Deported Veterans in Distress mural, which is located in Friendship Park on the Mexican side of the US-Mexico border in Playas de Tijuana. And after meeting many of the veterans who had faced deportation, I became an ally, and the rest is history. Unfortunately, even though this is a veterans issue, it has been compiled with immigration, making it harder to get bipartisan support, meaning support from Republicans, to also review the cases of those who have already faced deportation. And if you didn't know, veterans have faced deportation since 1997. And one of the only ways that many of them know that they could come back to the US is by dying. And even though the current administration has provided a pathway for some of the veterans who have faced deportation to return through humanitarian parole, others, thanks to that program, have been able to now start a pathway to regain their permanent residency. A few have received their citizenship after years of exile. I've met veterans who have faced exile for over 10 years, other close to 20, now coming back home after being away in exile for so many years. Is not easy either, but it's still a small victory. Not the solution, but it's still a step forward. Unfortunately, many others have passed away while being deported, and then they have the option to return to the US. So let me say that again. The only way that many of the deported veterans could come back home to the country that they serve is by dying. That's it. So what can we do, right? I echo the words of one of the storytellers from the Deported Veterans Diaspora Mural Project, Jose Tinajero, who says, they know that we've been getting deported, meaning senators, representatives, Congress. They know that they deport veterans, right? This is not unknown. This is not new to them. So knowing that our representatives, our government knows that it deports its veterans, what can you do? What can we regular people do? The first thing is first get informed, listen to the stories of deported veterans. I highly recommend the Humanizing Deportation digital storytelling project. These are short narratives that they have created themselves with the support of researchers like myself. I can also recommend the Leave No One Behind mural project, which I co-direct with two of my colleagues, Jennifer Martinez Medina and Robert Vivad. I highly recommend this project because it also uplifts multiple stories beyond just the digital storytelling form. And what groups can you support? I have multiple groups to recommend, but I'll start with a couple. Repatriate Our Patriots, I highly recommend you support them. They have been on the ground helping deported veterans assimilate to their countries of origin, making sure that they have access to the benefits that they rightfully earned. And then also because deported veterans are not only getting deported to Mexico, they have faced deportation to over 40 countries, meaning that this is not only a Latino issue. It's not only male veterans getting deported, it's also female veterans that get deported. The other group that I recommend to support, and by support I mean making donations to their organization to support their initiatives. They have an amazing film that really highlights what deported veterans go through. So definitely check out Black Deported Veterans of America. The link will be here and down below as well. Additionally, after listening to the stories, you could also share those online on social media. If you're an instructor like myself, you could also incorporate these stories as part of your teaching, your lesson plans. From experience, students definitely enjoy learning this way by listening to these stories and seeing photos, listening to people who have faced deportation, and really humanizing who they are, and to really learn, at least from their point of view, what triggered their deportation and how they now are being forced to start a new life in their countries of origin. Just because that is their country of origin, it doesn't mean that they grew up there, that they have cultural family links in that country. Anyways, that's all for now, but I'll share the interview once it's live.